What's up, guys? Mike here back with the Z-Man Show, trying to talk about the Book of Boba Fett. We're on Chapter 3 now, and I skipped Chapter 2 because honestly, I didn't have many great things to say. As my first episode, I was kind of dogging the show a bit, for its lackluster story, at least what starting off with, which, we was just one episode in. They're not giving us a whole lot. We need to build on the story. But now we're 3 episodes in, and I feel like I'm having a little bit more grounding. Like I have something to actually feel like I have an opinion about the show. And I can tell you, I am totally torn on this show. At times I'm looking at it and I'm kind of like, I want to like this show. And then at other times I'm just kind of like, I'm just staring at it. I caught myself with this only 38-minute episode, maybe 35 after credits and whatnot. And I was just kind of watching it and I was just like, I'm not exactly excited. But, certain scenes where you're just like, I remember Mandalorian and even Rogue One, I'm just like, oh man, check that out. And holy crap, check this out. And I'm just kind of watching this unfold. And I'm just kind of like, part of me is like, I'm just shaking my head, rolling my eyes. And at what? Well, there's a multiple of things. It's one thing when they're bringing in all these different syndicates and crime wars and bosses, because it's a whole other world for Tatooine. And that's kind of cool. But when I start seeing these, like, I don't know, lost boys and girls, if you will, like biker gang, with the super bright colored Power Ranger vehicles, red, green, yellow, blue, whatever. And the way they're riding around. It was kind of cool watching them fight Karsatan a little bit, but I'm like, only one guy had a blaster. The other ones had some like just random ass tools and stuff, which wasn't doing very much against them. Karsatan should have just laid them all out completely. Not to mention he was throwing Boba around like a rag doll. Now, mind you, he didn't have any of his gear. He's just a man. He has some strength, but that's about it. But that Wookiee should have completely decimated that little Power Ranger crew, but they didn't. And yeah, he beat him up a bit and got the Gamorrean guards and so forth. But, and in the end, I was glad that they didn't kill it because it seems like he's a kind of a cool character that I hope will come back. This black-colored Wookiee. He's a pretty cool character. But these other ones are introducing. Boba chooses such the weirdest ones to try and help him. It's one thing because the Tuskens, and they kind of half-ass saved him, but didn't, and then he kind of saved them. And then in the end, all so that they could just get slaughtered anyways. And again, this is how he's falling into the trap of these different syndicates, and they're all trying to take over the power of these districts. And the Pike is another race. They were the ones on the train, right, that they attacked in episode 2. And Boba basically said, we want tribute moving forward. And then you have that biker gang. They're another power player. You got the mayor. So there's a lot of different groups. Some of them are interesting. Some of them are just kind of like, okay, whatever. They're a means to an end, or they're just one little obstacle in the way to get what he needs. But in this one, the Tusken Raiders get taken out, right? And it looks like to be from that biker gang. The whole premise was basically the biker gang and Boba were both asking for tribute from the Pikes. And so the Pikes said, well, we're only going to pay one of you. Boba says, I'll take care of it. Next thing you know, the Tuskens are dead. So it's just kind of like, well, did somebody tip that biker gang off or this or that? Again, these are little points, plot points. And again, I want to get excited for this show. And I'm stammering because I'm just like, I'm so frustrated with this show. Half the time I'm looking at the production value thinking, this is the only thing saving the show, really, because the story is really kind of half-baked, really. I'm just not on board with it. And I don't understand. I really don't understand how this has an 8.0 on IMDb. IMDb is where I go to get my fair scores, whatever, and just to see, what the masses are rating. And it appears most people are loving this, except when I go to actually see, read the reviews, and all of them are like 3s and 4s and maybe the occasional 6, and then you'll see like a random 9, but there are a lot of low scores. So please leave me a comment and tell me, where are you at on this show? Are you loving what you're seeing? Or are you just kind of like, well, I'm just along for the ride? Because at this point, that's all I really am. I'm just along for this ride just to kind of see where it goes. It's not the Boba story I think we were looking for. Jon Favreau, I don't want to down you, buddy. You brought some awesome Star Wars stuff to us, but this one, I think you were just kind of trying to knock something out just so you can get it on screen. And I swear to you, if they jack up Obi-Wan's story and have anything like what I'm seeing on screen with Boba Fett, I might just riot. I don't think it's going to happen, given Ewan McGregor and even bringing back Darth Vader into the picture, and Hayden Christensen, I think, is coming back in. So there could be some really cool things in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. But this one, guys, I'm telling you, I'm watching it, honestly, just because it's Star Wars. Or at least they tagged a Star Wars name onto it. But it doesn't feel truly Star Wars to me. I feel like it's a new age Star Wars. Like, I am not their target audience. Okay, and if you're wondering, like, yeah, I'm about 38 years old, going on 39. Good Lord, I guess this month. Yeah, I got a birthday this month, and I'm not feeling it. Tell me where you at. Are you feeling it? Are you a younger? Let me know if you're a younger crowd and you're like, yeah, this is kind of new. It's refreshing and whatever. I can maybe see that, but I'm telling you, from a traditionalist, which I kind of feel. I mean, I love the original trilogy, obviously. The prequels, I really didn't mind. Episode 2 was a little rough, yes, but whatever. I didn't mind. Episode 1 and 3, I thought was pretty dark and cool. The newer trilogy, but I'm just trying to give you an idea, like where I'm at with this. And yeah, I'd say a good portion of the stuff that Disney has produced in the last whatever 4 to 5 years, it's been a little bit hit or miss for me, and I'm just afraid that this one is just going to be a miss. I just don't know if this story is going to fully mature up, and the only thing that is really that exciting are like the kind of fight scenes and so forth, but even they're kind of lackluster as well. So, I know this is honestly just more of a bashing session than really talking the episode overall. What were the cool points? We got a Rancor. That's kind of cool. The Hutts are leaving, so they're basically saying they're peacing out. So they sent Kirsten to basically kill Boba and his little followers, whatever. He failed. They apologized, gave him a Rancor, which is pretty cool. At first, I was like, they were talking about how the Rancor has to imprint on a person and then has to be trained, and they're meant for war, but they're actually very kind of cuddly and nice creatures unless provoked. And I'm like, really? But then I started thinking about it. I really thought back to Return of the Jedi and how the two Rancor keepers started crying when the Rancor got killed. And I was like, actually, this kind of actually sticks true to the Star Wars story. And I don't know much else in the comics or what they did with the Rancors, but I was like, okay, I can kind of actually buy into that. That kind of makes sense. And the Hutt twins, and they're peacing out. I mean, it was kind of cool seeing them for a half minute, but they're devious as ever. But, they're moving on because they don't want war. This is bad for business. So they're out. So Boba's kind of on his own, and he's stuck in the middle of this Pikes and the mayor. And you saw the mayor's assistant. He kind of gave him the runaround. Then they go on that bike chase, which, honestly, guys, that's where I was rolling my eyes. I was just kind of like, what? I mean, yeah, it was kind of exciting, I guess. But the flashy colors of the bikes, the new age gang or whatever like that, I'm just like, I realized they want to bring in some newer type characters, and they don't have probably the budgets to do all type of aliens and CGI and so forth. But that's not. I don't think it was a good fit. I think the bikes and the placement and the bright colors were all out of place for that of Tatooine, because nothing else even looks like that whatsoever. So, I mean, is that enough to down a full episode? No, but again, we're just adding these things up over time. I didn't review episode 2, and just to talk about it briefly, we got the chance to see them attack that Pike shuttle, and the Pike shuttle was shooting the Tuskens at random as they passed by every time, because they thought they could be a threat. I mean, that actually makes sense. I mean, they could have been, except that the Tuskens never attacked. And I did confirm, obviously, I had called it out in the first episode. I was like, since when are the Tuskens being like, I don't know, projected as like, what's the word I'm trying to say? Like, they're good people or something like, or good aliens, if you will. But we found out that there are different tribes of Tuskens throughout Tatooine, and they're just one of a more noble nature, and they're not all about just raiding and killing and so forth. They obviously they scavenge to survive because they live in the Dune Sea. But yeah, I figured there was probably some kind of tribal thing going on there. But I was just like, again, I'm like, is this really what I want to see out of Tusken Raiders? But I guess they needed somebody to take them in, and I guess that was their call on that one. So, I don't know, peoples. I am lost on this show. Yeah, no, I get the story, and I kind of see where it's going, but is this really what I wanted to see for Boba? I mean, I want to see some more backstory on him and so forth. And I know he keeps having these little flashbacks when he's in the back to tank, and he's having these little Zen moments or something like that when he was a boy, and he sees Slave One. And yes, it's called Slave One. Okay, Disney, you can take the name away all you want. That's the name of the ship. Just throwing it out there, and it's kind of flying off with Django in it, and Lord knows where he's going. But anyways, are we going to see some more about this? I mean, what he went through after Django died, got beheaded? I hope so, because honestly, I think it's the only thing that's going to save the show for me. If you don't start showing me some backstory, how it ties in to the other movies and everything that we know about Boba and Django, which, by the way, is very little for Boba. It's very little that we know about him. But, Tamir Morrison, he's not a bad actor, but does he bring that real, true stage presence for Boba that we want to see? I mean, yeah, I think it's sometimes he's just kind of slow with his talking and so forth, which, again, kind of Boba was. I mean, from what we saw in his whole bit of, 10 sets of lines over 2 or 3 sets of movies. but something feels off. So I'm done with my rant. I'm done with my rave. I hope you guys enjoyed this bit of talk on it. I'd love to hear your comments. What are you liking? What are you not liking about the show? Let's get some conversation going and see if we can kind of align. Maybe you can draw me back in and help me realize why I should be more excited about the show. I'm down. I'm down to listen to some comments on it. So thanks for watching. This is the Z-Man Show, and I am Mike, and I will catch you guys at the next review. See you guys.